Black Americans are a little bit in the dark about CIA operations and COINTELPRO on social media, especially TikTok. Let me explain to you some of the ways and means in which they will infiltrate, they will subvert, and they will dissipate any black energy. And a lot of the COINTELPRO operations started with the FBI, but a lot of it started being taken over by the CIA. And one of the groups that does this is the Special Activity Center, or SAC, and that is also done in coordination with the PAG, or Political Action Group. These are the people who are your content creators who come on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, it doesn't really matter, and they pretend to be somebody that you could trust. That's their job. They are trained to do this. Since the freaking CIA, I'm going to tell you, before I deployed to Afghanistan for the last time, this is back in 2011, they had courses, from what I'm hearing, they had courses about social media usage. Even back then, they were looking at our social media pages. So if they're looking at soldiers' pages, what do you think they're doing on social media right now? You know they're there. What do you think they're doing? I'm showing you right now the Special Activity Center. They are the ones who are infiltrating your social media spaces. They do covert and paramilitary operations, mostly covert. But the Political Action Group, they take covert political action. If you know they exist, if you know they have a damn near unlimited budget, you don't think they're on TikTok right now? Really? The question I want to ask the black community is, especially in Black America, is what sort of budget do you think these people are working with? Do you think that they're working with peanuts? Is that how you think this works? And they've been active since 1947 until 2016 as Special Activities Division, or SAD. But then it transitioned into the Special Activities Center from 2016 to present. So they are still operating right now. And if you need an example of how the CIA can do this to black people, but even a black country, look at what happened with Haiti. This is an article from the Washington Post from 1996 about Haitians believed linked to slaying later got U.S. aid, CIA report says. So CIA, they funded this guy in Haiti back during the 80s and 90s named Emmanuel Constant. He ran this paramilitary group in Haiti called FRAF. They assassinated Haitian politicians to destabilize the country because the U.S. government had a problem with Haiti. Didn't like any of the presidents for whatever reason. And so they paid these people on the inside of Haiti, people who were informants, people who were psychos. Emmanuel Constant, he violated a bunch of women all over Haiti, and he took people's lives. He terrorized Haiti, and the CIA was paying him to do that. They were paying a man to destabilize the country, and largely it was working. They did that to a country. Do you really think they aren't doing that on TikTok right now? What do you think is easier, trying to take over a country and destabilize a country, or paying some content creators more money than what they've seen probably in their entire lives with the promise of instant growth? Which do you think is easier and more efficient? Think it's easier to spend $1 billion trying to take over a country, or spend a couple of million paying off a few people? And like I said, man, General Felipe Biambi and also Emmanuel Constant, they assassinated the then Haitian Justice Minister, Guy Mallory. They assassinated him, and they were going around beating up people, finding people who were for the Haitian people, who were for democracy. Because again, the CIA didn't want people to have any faith in their country or their government. That's why they kept assassinating members of the government. That's why they kept putting Emmanuel Constant out there so that he could shoot down any idea of Haitian independence. They wanted to take over Haiti. They wanted Haiti as a freaking colony, even back then. So they implanted all kinds of subversive ideas. It wasn't just Emmanuel Constant and Biambi. If they're paying them, that's what we know of. If they're openly saying this, listen, if the CIA revealed this openly, that means that they were probably doing a lot more than what you think. And I know for a fact, when I interview many Haitians who were around during that time, when I made my deep dive into this, they were saying people were gaslighting us. Oh, it's ain't true. You're just paranoid. You got schizophrenia. You got bipolar. You're dumb. You just don't want to see a strong Haiti. They're being gaslit because there's no way a guy like this and all this happens without there being some initial gaslighting, because the Haitians would have rose up. They rose up during the Haitian Revolution. You think they wouldn't have rose up to stop this guy? But now you see why he was so successful. He was CIA backed by the richest country on planet Earth. And a bunch of propaganda was already laid out there, the same way you're seeing on TikTok right now. CIA.gov. That's where this article comes from. Look at the web address right there. CIA.gov. The CIA is openly putting this out there. It's an article from the LA Times from February 20th of 1990. Documents indicate CIA spied on Martin Luther King, wanted to discredit him as black leader. Let me ask you a question. You really think that's not happening right now? They did that to MLK, and it was harder to do it because you didn't have social media. You had to actually hire people, train them, and send them out. But now you have social media where you can just discredit people on the fly, or not just discredit people, elevate certain people. You don't think that's happening right now? So again, all these people who are saying you're paranoid and everything else, everything that I've claimed about Black TikTok, the stuff that I've claimed is far less extreme than the stuff that's already happening. That's already happened, right? It's far less extreme, except we didn't have social media back then, and the budgets that the U.S. intelligence agencies have right now didn't exist back then. It wasn't as big. So if their budgets have ballooned since then, and on top of that, they have social media. And you have whole courses from Full Sail University about how to use drama, how to use a current issue, how to press on a hot button social issue within a community, or even even from the outside of a community. They teach that at Full Sail University in Florida right now to civilians. What the hell you think the CIA is teaching their operatives? And this is why I keep telling Black America, stop believing the bullshit, man. Most of what you see on the internet, a lot of people who come on the internet are fake as fuck. Very few people that I've seen are actually genuine. A lot of the top creators, I peek right off the bat. These guys are informants, man. There's one guy who's a black creator who's in the Air Force. You may know exactly who I'm talking about. You know, he wears like dashikis sometimes, and it just comes across so performative. But he's in the Air Force, and you guys trusted him. Guys, the Air Force is one of the biggest intelligence gathering apparatuses that we have in the U.S., and you trusted that guy? See, if you ignored a clear op like him, then it doesn't matter that I put out this video. There's a reason why I have a pattern of being right about this stuff. When I say something sounds fishy, it turns out to be fishy. I said, this sounds kind of like a plant, and it turns out to be a plant. Just because you want to ignore things and have ignorance doesn't mean I'm going to ignore the muscle memory of my training.